So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode. All right, ready?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm not.
Dude, you guys are just yawn battling. Do you realize this? Like,
I know it's real bad.
Right in the mic. Yeah, leave the yawns in. Just leave them in.
They're so contagious. Why is that a thing?
It's not contagious.
It is contagious.
No, the flu is contagious. Keep that.
Yeah. By the end of this episode, you will yawn at least.
We'll all have the flu. All right, Laos, you got to carry this episode. It's on you.
I carry the episode?
Oh my God, right.
Coughs out, yawns out.
I hate you. You crazy mother.
Welcome, craft beer. My name is Donnie. This is the official podcast, Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News, where we talk about national stories, local flavors, and our favorite geeky nuggets of pop culture. Who could talk to these topics and so much more? But Mr. Lossman, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great, as always and forever. How are you?
I am good.
Always
and
forever.
That would be our lovely third co-host, Mr. Broodboy813. How are you?
I'm living the dream, folks. Living the dream.
Every goddamn day, is what I have to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you, boys, for joining, and we will jump right in because we have a busy show. I guess right at the top, before we even get into our "What are you drinking? What are you gonna drink?" segment, we have a very sad story to talk about. But there was what is coveted as the most influential brewer in the Tampa Bay area. Greg Rapp of Rapp Brewing actually passed away on Sunday. So we'll get into it a little bit later on a more lighthearted note. But Tampa Bay Beer Week was last week. It actually wrapped up this weekend. So the 11th, 12th, if you will. I guess it would be the 10th or the 9th, which would have been Saturday, Sunday. But either way, Greg passed away on Sunday. And that is a shame because he was, to be quoted by many, and I didn't know him well. Ryan, I know you've met him before, or maybe some of the folks there at least had some of their beer.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've had a lot of the Rapp Brewing Company's beer, but I do know that it would be like us losing, Chris from 610 or Tim or a close friend. A lot of people in the community.
Yeah.
A lot of collaborations are going to come out of this, and that's not here nor there, but just people trying to honor the family and honor the brewery. So I have a small quote here from both his daughter and from a patron. And I won't go into too much of it, but he had a 3-year battle with stage 4 prostate cancer. At the age of 60, he passed away. His daughter, Candy, is very just thankful for the community, for their love, for their support, and continuing the Rapp Brewing Company in his honor. I don't think the brewery is that old, right? I think that what I understand, and I have that quote here I can go off of, is that he had a 2-barrel, 4-vessel Blichmann system and managed to have 20 beers on tap in rotation every day. He was a home brewer that won numerous national awards, and was just an outstanding guy. So hats off to him, and here's to you, bud. Again, he looks familiar. I know we've crossed paths, but yeah, it's just a shame. You hate to see that, especially because the community is so tight. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I certainly agree. And like you said, Donnie, even though we didn't know him as much as say we know Tim and everybody else, it's still, everybody in the community felt it. And so we all felt it, a man that was innovative in brewing beer and doing what he loved day in and day out. And was trying to find out when they actually opened Rapp Brewery. But, he got to fulfill his dream in that his craft became his passion, and then his passion became a place where we could all go and drink. And I know that next week I'm going to be out in that area. They're over, I think, Largo, off of Bryan Dairy Road, and I'm definitely going to stop in and have a glass and pay my respect in the best way that I can by enjoying his awesome beer. So yeah, and that's how I feel about that. So,
and I'm sure it'll be a celebrated time for everybody that's there at the brewery, especially for the next week or so or two. And like I said, I only knew about this from a guy that I work with who is very close to the Rapp family, and he said, "Hey man, did you know?" And he kind of filled me in, and then I did a little digging on my own. But it's rough, but it's only rough. And it's so weird because like I said, I never knew the guy in any much detail, but when the community suffers a loss like that, kind of everybody rallies around it, and this is what kind of happens. So,
oh man, all the brewer friends or all the people that I'm friends with that are brewers in the area, they all just started posting about Rapp, and I had no idea what was going on, but then I saw Tim's post, and it was just like, man, this is crazy. So we definitely all felt the effect.
It's almost like a memorandum, that what happened at the end of this one and how detrimental that is, and kind of like to one of those, here's who we lost or whatever. So it's rough, but
best way to carry on his legacy is to keep drinking his beer. And he has some great beer. I know Ashley loves, they did a smoked porter a while back that she really, really enjoyed. And we'll definitely be
I told you more. Just from my buddy Jeremy, there's going to be collabs coming out the woodwork. So it should be really interesting to see what develops out of this. But it's only in tribute of him. Mr. Lossman, I'm sure you had no affiliation with Mr. Greg, but still just again, being an observer and a participant in the community. Any thoughts when we move on to what we're drinking, what we're going to drink?
Yeah, no, it's just you guys pretty much said it. It's rough when you hear about a loss like that. I mean, it's such a small community, and everyone tends to really, really love each other and really kind of look out for one another. So I'm sure he was a great guy.
Yep, well said. All right, well, and that's the somber news of the evening. Ryan, one more.
I was just gonna say, fuck cancer.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Well, with that said, what are you drinking this evening, Breed Boy 1-3? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, to lighten the mood a little bit, I actually
something
have
light.
Light enough. It's 5.6%. If I read that correctly, let's see here. Yeah. 5.6%. I've got the Swamp Head Stump Knocker APA. So, it's actually a really, really good beer. Overall, it's like I said, it's a little bit lower in ABV. The hops that they use in it are Columbus, Centennial, and Amarillo. And then it's just a pale ale malt with Munich and Crystal 40. So it gives a nice red hue, light red hue. Excuse me. I read that wrong. It's not caramel, it's crystal. So just a very, very nice drinkable pale ale. I enjoy it. Have you guys ever had this one before?
I know, but I have not, but I saw it literally in the grocery store today, and I saw like 2 or 3 Swamp Head brews, and I think that was one. Yeah, I just didn't grab it because I know you love Swamp Head.
I do.
Ever since you evacuated the hurricane, you just fell in love with it.
Well, any excuse that I can get to go out towards Gainesville, I'll take it, especially if there is a hurricane coming. Sure. But this was actually on tap at our good friend's Brew, and so I was able to get a 64-ounce growler of this, and I've been saving it actually for this podcast. So got it filled about 5 days ago, something like that, and it's still fresh right out of the bottle. So tribute to them. But yeah, it's definitely a really, really good beer. So
yeah,
I tried it when they had back when the LBC, the Lakeland Brewing Company, was open. They actually did where they would like borrow a keg or whatever, swap kegs or something with another brewery in the area, and that just happened to be one they put on for. I think they had 2 or 3 kegs of it, and so I had a couple glasses of it. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
I've had a couple of their beers, and they've all been pretty good. I can't recall if I've had that specific one, but I definitely saw it tonight.
My favorite beer of theirs, I think it was the Gainesville IPA. It was
the Gainesville Gator.
It might have been.
No, I don't know if that's one.
I had it on tap, and it was one of the freshest beers. I mean, I definitely think they wet or dry hopped it with wet hops because it was just the most epic sensation ever, like both on the tongue and the nose. But this one's definitely right up there from what I've had from them. So, and the Midnight Oil is pretty good too. I had a can of that earlier. So
you're burning some Midnight Oil. Somebody had to say it. I just said it sloppily.
It's one of those you just had to get it out, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like a yawn.
You had to burn up the joke. Yes.
I guess. All right. Well, right. You want to take
too many yawns.
You're sliding down a slippery slope, my friend.
Oh man, I'm just hitting stumps all the way down.
No, I made an oil joke. You made what was that? Swamp Head?
I'm just knocking these stumps all the way down.
No, second try, not any better. Lousman?
You knock that microphone out of your mouth. So I have nothing crazy. I got the Free Dive from Coppertail. Yeah, Free Dive IPA. It's been a while since I had one of these. So
see what you did there.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was actually in a little bit of a hurry and swooped those on the way home, knowing that they're always a fantastic little brew. So everyone pretty much knows that, or at least all of us do. It's very yummy, quite tasty.
I agree. I don't ever reach for the Free Dive though. And you guys are well aware of my opinion of Coppertail. Like, I love Coppertail. I think the Unholy is probably one of my most favorite beers. I've said it a million times ever, but I just never reach for the free. Even when it's on tap, I'm like, ooh, is there Sierra Nevada on tap?
I think, truth be told, I would be in the same boat, but I looked around and the only things that were really available weren't craft at all. And I was like, I don't really feel like any of that stuff. So I passed up High Life for this because I was like, I've had High Life a lot recently.
Yes, yeah, I'd never do that though.
Well, I know, and I love High Life. I didn't feel like that abrasive kind of taste tonight. So because it's in your face a little bit, but I like it most times.
I almost forget Free Dive. It's a little bit lighter of an IPA, right? It's not necessarily as heavy at all. It's almost like pretty golden, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Again, is it the most amazing thing? Probably not. But is it very yummy? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the thing I like best about that beer, not only is it tasty and drinkable, but it's also very consistent. Whereas, as much as I love High Life, I feel like there's been some changes to that beer, and I have not made it a go-to. I mean,
wow.
If I see it on tap, sure. Like if it's the only craft beer, like the other day I went to the movie theaters and it was Blue Moon, Mick Ultra, Budweiser, and then there was just High Life, and I was like, oh, cool. And it was the High Life with the old tap handle, not the new one that they have. So it's like sold, but it just didn't have that same pop, that same fizzle, that same pizzazz as it's always had for me. For some reason, not downplaying it, not killing it, but Free Dive's definitely working its way up the toll.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll give it another try again. I promise I will, because I'm not against anything that they make. I really do love Coppertail, but I just haven't been feeling that one. But I don't know. We'll see. I specifically don't have anything interesting, Wellsman. I've got the exact same beer I've had for the last like 2 or 3 shows, which is the Dogfish Head 75-minute IPA. Now, that is only because I've literally got on a plane after our last podcast and then got home about 3 days before this one. So I've had the same 6-pack in the fridge or maybe, no, it was 6-pack. It was only 6 beers that I've been through in the last like 3 episodes of this, but I saved one and then I saved the other. And then I went on out of the state really for work for the last 2 weeks. So nothing new to report here. I talked about, New York. We had a couple of good beers. I talked about Vegas. I don't think I talked about Vegas, but there were a couple good beers that I had in Vegas in between trips there, and it was good. But when I was in Vegas, there really wasn't. There was one local beer that I had. It was an amber, and it was okay, but nothing again to write home about. So I really don't have much to report, and I apologize. That's all I got.
You're giving Dane a run for his money with those what was that North Carolina beer that he had like 9 cases of?
Mountain.
Yeah, you're really giving Dane a run for his money on that one.
How on earth did you forget about Cold Mountain?
I just forgot the name. It was just it was so repetitive.
Yeah, that Kelly man, he's a real champ. Stocking Dane just cramming full of this old mountain.
I hear he's taking about 4 cases to Hawaii.
Oh, God. He'll drink better beer in Hawaii.
I just made that up, by the way. I have no idea how many cases he's taking, but 4 sounds like an adequate number to take to Hawaii.
He might be shipping some down. Who knows? But I think he'll have much better beer in Hawaii, honestly.
We should all pitch in and just send it to him.
We should. That'd be funny. Hey, here's a little piece of home.
Anybody listening to this podcast right now, if you want to contribute to the Cold Mountain Brew to send it to Hawaii, click now, subscribe, and donate some money to the Cold Mountain Relief for Dane.
Yeah, PayPal's link below.
Just send him hundreds of bottles of this.
Is this terrible, mediocre beer from North Carolina? That'd be great.
It's a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a sweet ass idea.
Cold Mountain, Hawaii.
Cold Mountain, Hawaii. There it is. Oh my God, that's great.
I think
we're live now. There it is. There's the mojo that we needed. Right there.
All right. I'm glad you got your mojo back, buddy. We got a few more stories here, then we can keep on moving on, as Boss Man used to say.
Oh.
All right, so boys, something we do have to hit on though. I didn't say hit on. I said hint on.
I don't know. I'm all out of bartenders around here.
Yeah, no, what I was saying is hint on was International Women's Day, which was last Thursday. And there was actually what?
I made my joke not look good.
No. I know you made my joke not look good because I said not hit on, hint on. Anyways.
Oh Lord.
The point of the story is that I actually got a press release from our friends at the CANarchy Craft Brewery Collective. If you don't recall who that is, that's Oscar Blues, Cigar City, a couple others, but good friends of ours. They celebrated International Women's Day in a number of ways. They had 3 highlight events that were taking place since I guess for that last week, because the entire month is actually International Women's Month, I assume. But the day was last week, and they had a series of events. So there was a Michigan brewery called Perrin that brewed a beer in collaboration with Fermenta, a nonprofit initiated by women from Michigan that were committed to diversity, camaraderie, networking, education within the craft beer industry, which I think is great. It's basically a loose tea-inspired beer with hints of ginger, lavender, and honey. It actually sounds very good. It was crafted with a Belgian strain of yeast, and the result is a light flavorful wit beer for a springtime release. So it was actually called the Renaissance Woman, and it will be released in 6-packs in Michigan in 12-ounce cans at the Perrin Pub on April 11th. So I'm all about that, dude. I would drink a loose tea-inspired beer. That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, it does sound good. Sounds pretty rad.
Yeah,
I actually have caffeine in it.
I don't think it'll have caffeine necessarily, maybe, but I just think that it'll taste like the ginger, the lavender, that kind of stuff, and honey in like a beer. Like I actually enjoy tea that tastes like that. So if there was a beer that had those flavors, I think it'd be interesting. But
yeah, loose tea inspired brew with hints of ginger, lavender, and honey with a Belgium yeast strand and experimental hops. Man, I am all about that.
It sounds right up like, it sounds like it could be really good. So,
I like how they labeled it Renaissance Woman. It's like they're embodying like what the Renaissance was, which was changing everything from the Dark Ages to where we are at now. But it transitions with the Renaissance, and I feel like that's a really cool name for a beer that has that description. So that's really cool. I like that.
No, I agree. But it's pretty cool. So I thought it was neat, but there's more to this too, because Oscar Blues is actually doing an event as well to celebrate today I guess it was this would have been Thursday in the Tasty Weasel Tap Room, which was the
Tasty Weasel.
This is Oscar.
Fun.
It does sound fun. This place was it actually they released the Gose Before Bros, a dry hopped gose brewed with coriander and sea salt smoked Chardonnay barrels, which was brewed with an all-female cast of Oscar Blues team members in collaboration with the Pink Books Society. Wow. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. But
Can we just call it Tweezle?
Well, that's the bar it was actually served in. But Gose Before Bros, I liked it a lot.
I do too.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool. But a sea smoked Chardonnay barrel, that'd be pretty neat as well. Just because I have no idea what that would taste like, but I imagine like a sour, a bit salty, little Chardonnay notes. Interesting.
It's Chardonnay. It's Chardonnay. It turns out.
Good gravy.
Oh. Getting some interesting looks on my end on that one.
Yep. Yeah, as you should be. Okay, the last one, and this is not happening until tomorrow, which is March 13th. Cigar City Brewing is participating in the Femme Ale Festival. So instead of female, it's Femme Ale, taking place at Pegasus Park in Hallandale Beach, Florida. So that's happening right here at home. But they'll have a collaboration of beers, a bunch of CCB's award-winning beers, and that should be a lot of fun. So everybody that makes it out there on March 13th, have a lot of fun. Awesome. Anything else on these Ladies' Day beers before we move on, guys?
Solid lineup.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good. And I honestly would love to try both those, the Oscar Blues and the Perrin Brewing companies, just because they sound incredible. But
yeah.
Last bit of news, and we'll go through this quickly just because we're running out of time. The Sand Tiger Stout is being released actually in 2 days. So the end of this week with a collaboration between Coppertail Brewing Company and the Florida Aquarium. Now, you may remember the Florida Aquarium and Coppertail teaming up to make the Coral Haze or the Sea Turtle Sour. Both those, every pint that's sold from the Coppertail Brewery goes to the aquarium to support conservation efforts for those sea turtles corals, Sand Tiger sharks, and originally the coral rebuild project that they were taking part in. So this Sand Tiger Stout will actually Sand Tiger Stout will be officially tapped on Friday, March 15th during the launch party at Cocktail Brewing. It is located at 2601 East 2nd Avenue. The party starts at 3:30 p.m. And for additional details, please click the link below to find their Facebook page there to reserve RCP or what have you. But I love the Coral Haze launch. I bought a pint glass to commemorate. All the proceeds went to the aquarium, which I love. So I'm all about that. Sand Tiger Stout, go for it, man.
So did they say like what exactly the funds of this one were going to? Like, is it just going to Sand Tiger Sharks?
Yeah, they usually target them, but what they do is they'll set up like a capital campaign that benefits like the Sand Tiger exhibit or the coral. Like what they do for the coral reef one was they actually go into the reef in the bay and they set up artificial reefs. And then they plant coral on that to take shape. And over time, the coral will grow over the artificial reef and actually begin to reproduce and repopulate the reef. So they're technically like doing work for each of these individual contributions through these capital campaigns. But like I said, every pint that's sold of this beer for however long they make it, which is an undetermined amount of time, will definitely go back to those efforts to support Sand Tiger sharks. So I'm all about that. All about it.
I like it. That's pretty awesome. A little scary. Sand Tiger sharks are scary, but
Sand Tiger sharks aren't scary at all.
They're not
nice.
scary.
They're nice sharks.
Oh, okay. We're all playing that game, huh? I didn't say I hate them.
If it was a great white, I could say it's scary. It's not
because
white.
Because if they're both coming at you, you'd be like, "Well, good thing I got this one." The great white's scary, but
absolutely,
no, it's not how sharks work. Yeah, again, I like sharks, but I'm just saying, Sand Tiger sharks can be scary.
A nurse shark, they're not scary.
I mean, they're kind of.
Not really.
A little bit.
That's like seeing
you saw that model that got her hand bit because she was floating on her back around nurse sharks?
Well, she should have been
scary for her now.
Did she get her hand bit off or just bit?
No, just bit. She wasn't paying attention. She was like, look at all these harmless sharks. And she was floating on her back. And a nurse shark was like, ooh, okay.
Well, so there you go. She just got bit. It wasn't bit off. So
yeah, I didn't say bit off. Jeez, you guys jumped right to that one.
Well, I think like tiger sharks will literally bite your hand off, but sand tigers, I don't think are that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I just wanted to know if I could buy a beer and have more sharks coming at me.
We're not shark experts, so we don't.
I'm not even a beer expert. I don't even know why I'm here.
That's funny. So that's great. And of course, we love to support the aquarium. So we've got a little bit of news coming up as we move into our geek news segment. This is geek news. Send it on in, drink it on down, whatever you want to do. If you guys remember during this segment, in lieu of this segment last week or last time, we actually did our versus segment, which we will still continue to do. The fortunate side of the news is that we had a bunch of it come out in the last 2 weeks. So we have some Disney news, some Star Wars news, some video game news, some movie news, and some more video game news. So to start us off with this, we wanted to talk to the only one of the pod here who has actually seen Captain Marvel, which came out. Because I have some questions that I've been asking every single person I've seen who has seen the movie that I am unsure of. But Ryan, since you are the only Broodboy813, since you're the only one who has not seen the movie or has seen the movie, you are our only hope. Can you please deliver us a non-spoiler review?
I will do my best. She is okay. Well, let's just go this, and then we'll start asking, or you could start asking me your questions. She's very powerful, and it explains how she becomes powerful, which is very cool, I think, to some degree. So that's I'll leave that as a cliffhanger. Maybe Donnie, some of your questions I can answer and still tiptoe around that. I don't know if that's the major question for everybody that hasn't seen it. Like, how does Captain Marvel even become powerful? Because she is of our world and becomes powerful, but there's a specific way and reason that I can't describe because it'll ruin the movie.
Can you start by telling us kind of the story? Like, what is the premise of it, and where does it go without being spoiler? Like, hey, like I can non-spoil Ant-Man right now and be like, hey, there's a dude. He was in jail. He tried to steal something, couldn't do it, and then he turns into Ant-Man. You have to see the rest of it. Bye. Like, that's the non-spoiler review of that. But it tells you the premise. Can you tell me the premise of Captain Marvel?
Yeah. She wakes up on the planet of Creek, I think. Does that sound right? That sounds right. Is it Creek?
She's a Kree. I know that.
Kree. Yes. Sorry. She wakes up on the planet of
Welcome to
Kree.
Creek. Just face
And,
down.
She's
Jason
very good
Bourne
at
style.
swimming. She's
Yeah,
very
Jason-
good at swimming.
You quickly learn that she's part of this team, and they try to teach her on how to
Not the swimming
train.
team.
No, not
Yep, different
definitely
team.
not a swimming team. No water. Actually, there was some water involved, but no water involved. Actually, was there water? I can't remember. So she starts
Someone
out-
drank a glass of water in this movie.
and she's learning to train with their team, and she's you quickly find out that she's been there for 6 years training with this team. But she's definitely way different than the other people on her team. Definitely. Crap, what happens after that?
Oh boy.
Don't spoil it. I get it. So she's training. You think she's of Earth, but okay.
That's okay. No, thank you. Actually, no. She keeps having these dreams, but she's not sure if it's futuristic or if it's past. Like she's kind of caught in limbo with which direction to go. So that kind of all of those questions. That's why it's so hard to talk about it. All of those questions get answered as the movie unfolds. So yeah, what other? I can't really tell you because the beginning of the movie stages everything else.
I have a question.
And that's a terrible thing to say. It's a terrible review, but it's really the truth.
I've got a question. So anybody who's watched Infinity War, I feel like we can talk about this a little bit. The end.
No.
The end spoiler credit. Okay, well, you're not going to reveal anything. However, is it revealed?
I can't.
What? Why are you doing this?
Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
So at the end of that movie, Nick Fury sends some sort of message through his space cell phone. Is it revealed in two-part question? Is it revealed in Captain Marvel what that message is, and is it the "cash me outside"? How about that emoji or meme? Does he just send that? Because I've been. How about that? Or just like a popular meme? Is it or meme?
Well, that's a very intricate question, Laos, because Captain Marvel. The movie that the name that we know in the movies that we've seen, this movie does not take place in present time.
So she has like a razor, like a Motorola razor that she's getting that on?
This movie...
He uses a pager, not a cell phone. He uses a pager.
Okay. All right. So
that's not a spoiler. That happened at the end of Infinity War.
I saw it.
Okay, that's right.
So it's not a meme.
A pager.
It's probably an emoji.
But there's connections to that I can't describe. That being said, this movie takes place in the 90s before, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D. is not fully S.H.I.E.L.D. that we know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're more like a like a trash can lid, not a full-blown shield.
Right.
Well, like, for example, Nick Fury still has both of his eyes.
Or does he?
Or does he?
Oh yeah, you're starting to reveal some information here.
Well, no, you see him clearly when he enters. He's got both of his eyes.
So does he. He's got two eyes, man. Jeez.
No, I know what you're saying, Ryan. But the perception leading up to this, no pun intended, is that they were, Marvel is notorious for like putting in a Hulk or not putting in a Hulk, and then having the actual scene come through and not. So people were suggesting that he could have lost his eyes. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I've heard other things already about what.
Well, I didn't tell you how it happens.
No. What I'm interested with his eye is that little kitty cat. But I'll get into that a little bit later. And I have not heard anything. I'm just guessing from comic book stories that I've heard, but do not hit on that at all. I just wanted to know. I have more questions, though. You were asking for my questions?
Yeah, please. I'll do my best to answer them without, because that's a problem. This movie has a lot of interconnected things. If I start talking about it, I end up spewing shit.
Let's just talk more about cats. I have an orange tabby. Wait,
your tabby does not need to go anywhere near this movie.
That's good. His name's Banana.
No, I was literally.
His name's Banana.
I was talking about more subjective.
All right, let's hear it. I could probably answer better than I can explain it.
Well, subjectively, you should be able to. What I asked most people is, okay, you've seen the movie, great. Okay, in the worst world, Captain America doesn't make it out of Infinity War Endgame. Do you think Captain Marvel can? It's a two-parter. Do you think Captain Marvel can carry the franchise for the foreseeable future?
To answer that question, I'll relate this to being a Goku fan. I felt as connected, well, obviously without the history, but I felt as connected to Captain Marvel as I do Goku, just without the history.
So
because of the presence of her power and the infinite power she holds within, it's very enlightening how she truly gains concept of who she is throughout the movie. And I feel like it's a very transcendent representation of, say, a Super Saiyan in that sense. So I feel, to answer your question, the character, some people would say the actress, I thought she did a great job, but I feel like the character can give Marvel an awesome show without stealing it, but could potentially steal it at the same time for the next however many movies they want to put her in.
Well, I think Lousman has to say something, but the reason I asked that, just for preface, is that Marvel's obviously heading towards the Marvel cosmic universe, right? So like they're leaving Earth. Obviously, we've got the Guardians now. We've got everybody's kind of in the mix. The universe is larger. The bad guys are going to be larger. They're going to be bigger than Thanos. They're going to be bigger than coming from somewhere else. So the Marvel cosmic universe is where I see them going.
Yeah.
Now, who could lead them there? It's certainly not Captain America, good old boy. It's not going to be. It just simply can't be. But who could it be? For the foreseeable cast, without even seeing the movie, of course, Captain Marvel is the obvious choice. But I just wondered, besides her lack of smiling, could she lead that group, folks from the Guardians, in space into the next franchise?
You got to know, though, she doesn't smile and she has her reasons.
RBF.
Exactly. I said that specifically because I know they call it out in the movie, and no one should ever tell anyone to smile more or less than they already do. It's just a common courtesy. Don't do it ever.
Well, when does Captain America smile? I mean, let's be honest.
He sees Bucky.
Yeah, when
right.
he sees Bucky, or
Peggy Carter, or Peggy Carter's daughter, which is weird.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Or maybe it's her niece. I don't know. One of the two, but either way, he makes out with her.
Well, but he probably smiles at her because he feels connected to her in the past and all that.
He feels something for her.
Yeah, well, you never know. He's a strong man. But
what? Yeah, I took a real big turn towards how
he's
handsome
Captain America. Of course, he's strong. So
yeah, but he's only strong from the steroids that he took, and you know what that means.
For the people out there, she doesn't smile. She's not supposed to smile. There's a reason, and you find out why. She's in constant search of who she is. So.
If she smiled, I'm just saying maybe she'd find herself.
Yeah, I was about to say, I got lost in IKEA. I smiled the whole way. I was looking for where I was, who I was.
In IKEA?
Oh, yeah, dude. I couldn't figure out if it was Swedish or not.
That's good.
What other questions do you have? Because I know the review didn't turn out the way that I thought it would when I was saying it, but there really is no way to tell the story without actually sharing the juicy gold nuggets that is in the movie.
You're right. The review's leaving a little bit to the imagination.
I'm like an old-fashioned trailer.
Record player.
Trailer?
Not a physical trailer, movie trailer. I leave a lot to the imagination, whereas nowadays they just tell you the whole goddamn movie and you fucking don't even need to pay to see it because you're satisfied enough to wait for it to come out on Redbox. This movie is not a Redbox movie. This movie is a see it in the theaters, experience it in true cinematic form.
You saw it in 3D, right?
I did.
See, I don't like seeing non-3D movies in 3D. How was it? How was it in 3D?
How was that a non-3D movie? They don't shoot movies in 3D, or they don't shoot movies in non-3D, then put it in 3D because there would be shit weird.
That's exactly what they do with all those movies that you're watching. They shoot them in non-3D, and they show them in 3D.
I'd like to watch a comedy in 3D. I think that'd be the best.
That's why they don't have
No, because they shoot movies in 3D, and then when you see them in non-3D, shit looks out of place because it's supposed to be in 3D, and it's why is this?
No,
you didn't know that?
Question for the greater group. So just harken back to any 3D movie that you've ever seen in the theater or out of the theater. When it comes out of the theater, Avatar is an example. If you watch Avatar in 3D in the movie theater, I'm sure it seemed awesome. When you watch Avatar and it's not in 3D on your DVD or Blu-ray player, do you think that they shot two different movies, Ryan? One 3D, one no 3D?
No, they shot the movie with intention for it to be 3D, which is why they go out of their way to make extra things.
That is incorrect.
Pop. No, it's not.
No, it is.
Donnie.
Lausman?
to my original point, I would like to see something like Weekend at Bernie's in 3D. I think that'd be fun. That'd be just a great time. They're all he's dancing around. He's like, whoa, he's coming right at me, that dead guy. I think that'd be fantastic.
His arms are just all dangly in your face.
You see what I'm saying? That would be so great.
I don't think that's real either.
Oh, come on, man. They can go back and do that. Just the eggheads down at Paramount can do anything.
Paramount's
I'm
not
sure
even
they
like
could, but no, movies, they make movies with intention to be 3D.
Every movie, why... you're saying, take Titanic, my friend. Titanic also had a 3D release. You're saying that they shot Titanic with the intention of making it 3D, and now it's 3D and it's fine.
No.
That would be bad.
The movies that they shoot now to be in 3D, to be released in 3D, okay? They are intended.
But no Marvel movie is intended to be in 3D. Star Wars is the same way. They released them all in Star Wars in 3D too, but they don't record them for 3D. They record them regularly. The attributes that they have, or they create 3D out of it. Not shot for. It's shot for regular, and then it's converted to 3D.
There are some things though that you can see in a 3D movie that they took more time to make pop out of the screen. That if you see in a non-3D setting, you would wonder.
Can you imagine Can you imagine like how scary a movie like Harry and the Hendersons would be in 3D? I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I think that Ryan, we'll talk. Let's talk to a filmman and we'll figure that out, because I feel like that is confusing. Confusing, but there's obviously some fog to that story. So what
other questions do you have about Captain Marvel?
Do you feel like her story was explained properly? Because when I asked one Chet A. Fulton, he was like, no. He goes, just all of a sudden, she's the most powerful Marvel character there ever was. And he felt cheated by that. How did it feel for your perspective?
I mean, well, what were his reasons? Because, I mean, Chet's usually spot on with stuff. I'm not going to discredit him.
His reason for saying that she just had powers out of nowhere and she's the most powerful character that ever was because she just had powers out of nowhere and she just became the most powerful character that ever was. That's all. He just said it was kind of weird.
Well, they weren't powers out of nowhere. I can't go into how the powers came to be.
Right, but you can explain. They say they give a good job, or did you feel that? And this is all subjective again. It's not the Oscars. It's just that, did you feel like they explained enough of it or no? Yeah.
I was satisfied. I was actually shocked when I saw it. I was like, wow.
I feel like, well, even with like Captain America and Bucky, like they went back and did flashbacks of like, oh yeah, he also did this, and oh, he was also a part of that, and he also was in World War II or whatever. Like you didn't see all that stuff in the Captain America origin story, but
you are correct.
Yeah.
The Captain America, he was in a machine and they injected him with shit, and then all of a sudden he became Captain America. He was a project. You know,
but see, that's reason. Like, if she Hulk just became, but if she just, no, they never explain Hulk. They never explain Hulk.
Hulk had already been explained in other movies.
Yeah, depends on that's not relevant. Yeah, I feel like that's not right. To Loss's point, that's not really an origin story. They never gave Hulk an origin story. He was just the Hulk. You knew who he was. Spider-Man, same way. You never saw Spider-Man get bit by a spider. Never.
Not the Spider-Man that's in the new series of Avengers.
The only ones that are relevant are the ones that are currently in existence.
Well, we all know how Peter Parker became Spider-Man. He got bit by a spider.
Did he?
Yeah.
They never explained that.
Then he fought Macho Man Randy Savage.
So let me ask you a question. You're saying that the 3 Spider-Mans, the 4 Spider-Mans, however many freaking Spider-Mans there are, you're saying that to now connect to this Marvel, we need a origin story of everything that we've already been told from all the other freaking stories? Hold on.
No, it's like Batman from the most recent Batman, right? Like you didn't see Bruce Wayne become Batman in I said Bruce Wayne. I meant Ben Affleck become Batman. He just was Batman. You never saw his origin story because he didn't need to. Same thing with Spider-Man. Same thing with the other reference I made, but not Iron Man. You had to see Iron Man become Iron Man. You didn't have to see... I think that was the point. Is like you didn't see her become so powerful unless you do. Like unless they show her as a kid, or if every person on that planet had those powers, or why she's so different. That was the thing that Chet was mad about. He's like, you didn't see her get that for any reason. Like why Spider-Man has powers. Why Iron Man has powers or is powerful.
But you do. You learn why
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Marvel
but he said that
becomes
like
powerful.
Okay, then we'll have to see it. We'll have to see because I'm arguing a point that not mine on a movie I haven't seen, so I can't really be taken serious.
Firm ground to stand on there.
To that point, though, I mean, I think Iron Man was the first of everything in what we know today, right? Leading up to the Avengers, right? Iron Man was it.
But
no, just to
no, it was
and then Captain America came around and we learned about his past, and he was of course older, and then at the end of that he doesn't die and he gets frozen for however many years, and then whatever he thaws out 50, 60, 80 years later, whatever.
I've seen all these movies and you've just lost me in that explanation. but he freezes and then he unfreezes. Don't worry about that guy.
All right, well, no, but here's my point. Captain Marvel has not been introduced to the Avengers lead up to where we're at now with Thanos.
Got it.
In order to connect Captain Marvel to that last scene in Avengers 3, you need this movie to piece it together. And Laos, you asked a question earlier that I can't describe in detail.
About the emoji? Catch me outside? How about that?
No, nothing about the emoji. But it all makes sense, which is why you need the origin story in this. It's an origin story, but it's sort of not an origin story because she already has her powers. Does that make sense?
Yes. It skips a lot.
It explains how she gets her powers, but she already has her powers. So it's not a complete Iron Man goes into the desert, almost dies, has lead or whatever it was going to his heart, and he has to save himself by putting fucking the arc reactor into his chest.
Magnets.
Thank you. Right. This she already has her powers, and it explains.
It's that all-solving, unlimited energy of magnets. Makes sense.
They never run out.
Correct. God, just go see the
30 on my fridge right now.
You'll see. She has her powers. It just explains it.
No, Ryan, I wasn't trying to make it that complicated. We got really down a rabbit hole, and we're frankly out of time for this particular segment.
Really a good. It's actually one of the more enjoyable Marvel movies I've watched.
Okay, so how many Brie Larsons out of 10 would you rate this movie?
Oof. That sigh went on for a little bit too long.
Well, I want to be fair. I don't want to go too high because it wasn't there were slow points, and I think that's what made everybody a little disappointed because they're like, why is it so slow? Because you're still worn out from Avengers 3s. But let's go 7.7.
7.7 Brie Larsons out of 10 Brie Larsons.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
It could have been a little faster. But
going into this, what is it? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, going into this, what was your favorite Marvel movie leading up to it? Infinity War?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, but that's just because you got to see everybody, and it's what we were anticipating. It was just a freaking fast-paced ride.
Okay, so in terms of Marvel, there's been 18 of them, basically 18 Marvel movies. Which is it ranked pretty on the higher end or on the lower end of what you would say?
I would go and say, for me,
of course, that's who we're asking.
For me,
yep. I'm up next.
I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I love that one.
I did too.
Good choice.
I like Black Panther. No, Black Panther's up there. I'm getting. You want top 3 or top 5?
I didn't ask for either. I just said how high would you rank it?
Well, I can't give them in number order. That's the thing.
On the higher end or the lower end? That's all. I think I know your answer.
Okay.
You liked it. Yeah, you liked it a lot.
I would go on the higher end just because it's. I mean, God, what was it? You remember that? Okay, so remember in X-Men when we see the Phoenix finally show her power?
Yeah.
It was just like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I'll go see it. I'm excited for it. But Lossman, you had an opinion?
I was just trying to jump in. Yeah, I mean, sure, I got an opinion. I'm excited about it. I don't really know a whole lot, so I'm going to be kind of like a noob to that whole line. So I'm very intrigued. Ryan, I think you did paint a pretty good picture, bud. You didn't give anything away, so I appreciate that, buddy.
Based off Ryan's description, how many Brie Larsons would you give it?
Out of 10.
Don't go based on my description because that was terrible.
Solely basing it off of that and the small snippets I've seen on TV in terms of commercials. It looks pretty good. It looks like a solid movie. One I'm still really bummed I haven't gone and seen is Wonder Woman, and I feel like it's kind of more than that.
I haven't seen Aquaman yet.
Okay, Wonder Woman was very, very good, but this was better.
I get the feeling it's a little bit better than that.
This is even better. Weird. I actually think that Captain Marvel could kick Superman's ass.
I'm giving it
That's
5
good.
Brie Larsons. 5.
I'm
That's
just
all I'm
saying.
giving it.
If there was ever a Marvel DC crossover, Superman
Which there would never be.
That would be awesome, though.
They're rebooting that entire universe, by the way. Here's some hot, spicy news. Batman is no longer Ben Affleck, and the Joker now has Joaquin Phoenix as a trailer, and that is out there for everyone to see and be grotesquely absurd about. It's not good. But
I haven't seen that trailer yet.
They are rebooting Batman, which means the whole universe is being rebooted, and Suicide Squad's getting all new members. Good for you guys, and Will Smith included. So.
Which means they did absolutely everything wrong, and
correct.
Should just let Disney take over.
Yep.
No, they should just have Christian Bale as Batman. I know it wasn't canon or whatever.
He was good.
Story or some stupid stuff.
Well, but that was the thing, though. I feel like they started these Marvel movies with intention to get to where we're at now. I don't think they've ever had that same theory with DC. Like
that is correct.
Start a movie and then set it here and then have it build, because where does it build to? It doesn't really build to anything. Not like Marvel.
Can't we just, like in sports, like when somebody's like so great at one thing, we just retire their jersey and we just hang it up in a gymnasium somewhere, like their number. we could just hang up Batman and be like, nope. Yeah, no, not just be like Batman. You can't redo this one. He's done. He's good. Move on. Maybe do a new Superman.
I even saw earlier this week.
Stupid hair.
They want somebody to bring back Michael Keaton as Batman, and it's like, bro, no. Like,
see,
he did that movie early 90s. That was 27 years ago, 28 years ago.
They need to hang Batman's suit up from a gymnasium and call it a day.
No, it is bad.
Did anybody see the video of the guy getting pulled over in the Batmobile? Have you guys seen that yet?
Yeah, I saw that like last Halloween or whatever. It was
was that old?
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Dude, it was he gets out just like Batman. Like he just jumps out like he's ready to go.
Probably not a good move around a cop.
No, she was completely cool with it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, what are you gonna do? It's fucking Batman.
That was our comic book news. We just burned all the rest of the show on. So
And again, I apologize for my review. There's just, you have to go see the movie. It's just all connected. I can't really tell you anything more.
No, it's good, and I want to see it. And I really do. The 5 is just my opinion going out before I even see it. So that's not even fair. But I really do think I'll like it. I think it's interesting. I like the fact that she's the most powerful superhero or whatever. I thought it was cool. And the universe was due for a refresh. I was wondering who would carry the Guardians beyond their own scope, and I think she's a great person to do it if it lines up and lives up to what I was anticipating. So I hope so, but I'm excited for it.
You also learn how she gets her name, and I will not ruin that.
Lieutenant Veers. Or whatever.
Well, that's her name, but you learn how she becomes Captain Marvel.
Named after her grandma, that first one.
No, named after the marvelous Miss Maisel. That's what it is.
But you actually learn how you just learn a lot. You just learn a lot.
Okay.
I thought mine was better.
Well, that's good. And thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Lussman, for the jokes. Speaking of learning things, we learned 2 quick facts that, if you don't mind, Ryan, if you're all done, I'd like to move on to.
There's more?
Not about Miss Marvel, Maisel. What I'm talking about is that we learned that Galaxy's Edge Star Wars will open on May 31st in California and August 29th in Florida. It is going to be an insane part of a $2 billion investment from Disney. And boys, I found 27 things that we learned about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and we don't have time to go through them all. Lausman?
That will be next episode. Yeah. Stay tuned.
No, well, yeah, we can go through it, but man, yeah, well, I'm just briefly. Briefly. We know a lot of these things. The cool part is that I wanted to get across tonight was that there's going to be customized gift shops and drinks and food and restaurants and alcoholic drinks and non-alcoholic drinks and blue milk and green milk and all sorts of stuff. It is an incredible time to be a Star Wars fan. Go ahead.
So I have a quick moment on this. First time, I'm gonna say it right now. First time I'm looking at it. I have priced out a few Imperial officer costumes. That is a serious note right there. I looked into it and I was like, you know what? With the amount of times I'm probably going, this could be good. This could pay back on dividends. Seem to have captured the room with that comment.
I'm all about the Imperial officer suits. But what I was trying to hit on this time, dude, like if you click, so I put a couple links below, and if you click those,
I checked them out.
Yeah, dude, some of the food that you get, the hanging turkey jerkies, all sorts of stuff. The toys that are gonna look like they're made like literally on site. They're a little like rough around the edges. Like it looks cool as shit.
Super cool. I'm excited.
I was excited about that. Ryan obviously was not paying attention. Mr. Lossman, do you have any final thoughts about that before we move on?
I'm super excited to dress up like Star Wars and go to Star Wars and actually be in Star Wars now. Yay!
I agree. I'm with you.
I'm sorry I can't join you guys.
That's okay. You'll want to eventually.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and it's going to be an awkward car ride over for me and my girlfriend because
career change. So it's all good.
All right.
What?
I was just gonna say when I get to dress up for Star Wars Land, it's gonna be an awkward car ride over because my girlfriend is Rebel Scum and I'm Imperial. So
I thought you were talking about New York.
No, why would I dress like an Imperial officer in New York?
I don't know.
Why would that be a thing, Ryan?
He's like, that sounds like a weird thing to me.
I'm not gonna wear it to like work. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Good God.
I get it now.
What a mess. This is a mess. All right.
Fun one to edit though, right?
Oh yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for that. So we had two last things to send us home. The last one, they're both video game news. I don't know if you noticed, PlayStation released the app so that you can actually play your PlayStation from your iOS device, which is fantastic for those that want a game in the potty or in bed.
This is real?
This is real. If you read the notes a little bit beforehand and just now, you would know, or possibly be a part of
this is really happening?
Facebook group, Craft Brews Geek News. You can absolutely play your PlayStation from your iPhone.
But is it only the games that you downloaded onto your PS4, or
only the games that you either download on your PlayStation? It literally gives you I'll show you. It gives you the PlayStation 4 actual screen, and then you can play the game that's in your PlayStation. So you have to have the disc in it, or a game that you've downloaded there.
Does it have to be on though?
No, Scoob, all you got to do is just make sure it's in standby mode, and you're good. Like,
well, why wouldn't I just play on my... Wait, does it transfer over? Like, if I'm playing the game and, like, need the pot, like, if it's just me, do I get to go to the other room?
If your TV is off because your wife is watching TV and you still want to play PlayStation and it's connected to your TV, you can do that. See? This is my PlayStation.
Oh, wait.
It's literally my PlayStation screen right now. And you can see all the games that I have downloaded and the games that I have in there. And if you wanted to go play, say, I don't know, anything, you literally just can, well, where does it stick there? You can just go back and forth, or you can tap this guy here and click through to all the games you have, and you can play anything you want to. That's on your PlayStation. For this example, we'll use Steep, because me and Los had such a good time playing it.
Till 6 in the morning.
Till 6 in the morning.
On
the day that daylight savings kicked in, which is a very bad decision.
You tell me, man. I had a blast.
Ryan, the only negative side to this controller is that you can see the buttons that are literally on your iPhone screen, so it makes it a little bit difficult to control.
Does it matter?
First-person shooters and stuff.
Doesn't matter. This is awesome.
I mean, it is really cool. Like I said, I tested it a little bit.
Fuck me.
Just to play while I was like on the potty. That's about it.
This is amazing.
It is amazing. It's very cool. But that was a huge piece of news. We can get back to this, but the second piece of news from a Nintendo standpoint was that Turok is being released, which I wanted to talk about because I love Turok and Turok 2. Mainly Turok 2 because Turok 1 was terrible. But the concept of fighting dinosaurs back in the past that are infused with animatronics and robots, I really get into. So that was the news I had. Ryan, what do you think about that?
I'm amazed. This is awesome.
Are you just playing it right now? Yeah. Did you already download the app?
I just downloaded it. I'm logged in. I'm trying to figure out where my games are.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, like a dumbass, Lousman, do you have any final comments for the evening?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Turok maybe later, maybe next time around.
We can talk about all this stuff later. I just wanted to tease it because this news literally broke like 2 or 3 days ago. So I just wanted to include it. I'm excited too.
I got scared for a second. I thought you were going to talk about stupid cardboard like phone holder or whatever it's the cardboard switch holder to do VR with your Switch? Have you seen this?
No, I have not, but I'm excited about that. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you the synopsis here. You have to hold it like a periscope in a stupid submarine.
What?
And it's cardboard, so it's dumb. It's that dumb, whatever, Nintendo cardboard garbage.
That is awesome.
No, it's not. You have to hold it. I don't know. Whatever. We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, I'm all about that, though. That is cool.
Are you Googling it?
No, I will, though.
Yeah, congratulations. Nintendo made you look even more ridiculous when trying to play your Switch.
It's got to be so big, though.
It's not. I mean, you hold it, the guy holds it on his face like he's waiting for a friggin' table at Applebee's playing that heads-up game or whatever.
I know what you're talking about. The same game that spits your receipt out so you can tip your waitress without seeing her.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're looking at it now.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at me in a squirrel suit on top of the mountain of steep and not knowing how to jump off of it again.
Well, we might have to play that game right now.
Oh, jeez. All right. Oh, jeez, Rick. Ryan, all right. Do you got anything else, man?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to find my games that I've already downloaded.
You figure it out later?
Yeah, this is really fascinating stuff for the cast.
This is very
Ryan, do me a favor. Can you update your PS4? Can you show us all how to update your PS4 to daylight savings time?
We're just trying to figure it out.
Wait, do you have to do that?
What? No, you don't have to. Oh my gosh!
Okay,
Connected to the internet.
Just making sure. So does my phone.
Yeah, and your phone should have automatically connected.
Wait, does your PlayStation have to be on?
Let's talk about this at
one of the
length.
things I had to say. Okay, yes, exactly. Ryan,
To even play the games that are downloaded?
correct. It has to be on.
Oh, it's not
I
on.
said that at the initial synopsis of what this
Well,
was.
no, I thought you said like just for the disc game. So my PlayStation actually has to be
you have
on.
to make sure it's the bull's ass.
So the PlayStation has to be on, and then I can play it on my phone.
Correct.
Your games are inside the computer, Ryan. Inside.
But it will then register. So okay,
If I were you, I'd install it on an iPad or something because you'd have a bigger screen. But
that's
just
a
me.
very good point.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But what if I want
badass.
to play games when I'm at work and I can't because I'm not connected or my PlayStation? Like, do you have to be in the same house or just have to be on?
Well, I tried playing it from a data source and wasn't able to.
Okay.
But when you're connected to Wi-Fi, you can, I believe. I'm not sure. I have not tried it from like anywhere external from my house. I think
We should
Jeff
really
tried it.
test this out.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But it's not a great experience. I hate playing on mobile when they're not mobile games. And there is a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. Anyways, all right, boys. Well, we have to end this show because we are grossly overdue. So, to round us out, Ryan, you've heard a lot of things tonight. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Anything to finish off the evening, and then I'll go to you, Lossman.
Go see Captain Marvel before Avengers 4 comes out.
Because we need to see how that cat killed Nick Fury. Something like that. Mr. Lossman, speaking of cats.
Is it a cat?
I don't know. It's a
Mine
skull,
is.
probably. Yes, Mr. Lossman, any final thoughts?
No, man, that was good. That felt good. I liked it. That was fun.
Okay. All right. Well, I think Ryan, you seem like you're bubbling at the tippy top there of your little jammies. Where do the kids find you at, Ryan? I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep.
So you can find me at BrewedBoy813 on Instagram, and you can also look us up on the Craft Brews and Geek News Facebook page. Send us a request and join our group. We have well over 100 people that are always commenting on different photos and different things that are going on in the Florida and world region of craft beer. So please let us know how we can be part of that.
It's beyond craft beer too. We get people that comment on trailers or give us their plot synopsis and talk about their trips and where they're going, and it's really just a great community. So yes, Ryan's correct. Facebook group Craft Brews and Geek News. Please find us there. You're definitely in, and we only moderate it so that we can just keep the conversation casual and fun as it has been.
Absolutely.
And we haven't had to boot anybody. Period. So
nobody. We've got a great group of people out there, and they're always sharing their stuff, and even some brewers too. I saw Tim posted some stuff today.
I want to give a shout out to Tim, to Ryan, to Alex. There's a bunch, not you, Ryan. There's another Ryan in there. There's a couple Alexes in there. It's really a great group. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, he's doing a great job of posting. So we really do appreciate you guys. And please keep suggesting your verses as well. We're talking about who's going to fight who, what is going to happen, what if Liar didn't have magic. I don't care. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. We want to. And that'll be additional segments coming to you guys here. Mr. Lousman, where can the good kid find you?
I can be found on Twitter at Mr. Louseman, and I promise I'm going to be on there more because I have been. So
okay, that's good. Twitter's good. I like Twitter. You can find me at Brewmasters Club on Twitter, actually, or Craft Brews and Geek News on YouTube, on the Facebook group, of course, and then Instagram, same thing, Craft Brews Geek News. Or contact the show at Brewmasters Club cast, or send us an email, info@brewmasters.club. If you want to, it's up to you. info@brewmasters.club is our email address if you'd like to send us one. Ryan, as we say at the end of every podcast,
Captain Marvel gets her powers by beep into beep.
That was actually pretty good, buddy. I like that one. That was good. You didn't give anything away, and hats off to you for that.
My shining moment of the entire fucking cast.
Yeah, clever. You finally made a clever one. That's good. I like it a lot. All right, good night, everybody.
That was rough.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!